I had the brilliant idea to spend 120 hours to become a certified nail technician. She invested her time and her energy in becoming world-class at putting little rhinestones on green setting and ensuring that cuticles were perfectly manicured. I agreed with Serena that it was a brilliant idea, because it was her idea. It was also her idea to become fluent in French as an adult. It turns out that the research, I referred already to research and passion, this is led by a scholar named Robert Valeron at the University of Quebec. He created what's called the dual model of passion. Again, the dual consciousness. There's two types of passion. There's obsessive passion and harmonious passion. And the difference is both in where they come from and what they lead to. Serena's is a harmonious passion. She has passion for tennis. She wouldn't be world-class if she didn't. It comes from a place of joy. And you can tell that it comes from a place of joy. The marker, the indicator that it's harmonious, is it's not single-minded. It doesn't take over her life. Those people who have obsessive passion, and you can picture the world-class tennis athlete who does nothing day and night but practice and play tennis, those people are often motivated, according to the research, by what is called contingent self-esteem. Their self-esteem is wound up and bound up in what they do, and the thing that they're passionate for gives them a sense of who they are in a way that is unhealthy. Obsessive passion leads to two main problems. Burnout, not sustainable, to be motivated by this sort of contingent self-esteem and to do one thing only, and at least a bad behavior. Bad behavior both in terms of being a jerk to work with or be around, and bad behavior also, the research shows this, the research is clear, if you're obsessively passionate, if you're single-mindedly passionate, if you're driven by contingent self-esteem, you are more likely to bend your values, to do things that are ethically questionable. So white-collar crime. A lot of the research in white-collar crime connects to work that is driven by obsessive passion that is driven by contingent self-esteem. Once again...
Lance Armstrong.
What's that?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods.
There are examples. Once again, we need... Once again, we need a dual consciousness. We need a dual consciousness. That says, yes, passion is good. All those things we think about passion, screening for passion in job candidates, looking for the joy, finding joy ourselves, that is good. It's absolutely good. And beware of the single-minded obsession. I want to leave you with a thought about this. I want you to think about those things that you do in your life that have nothing to do with your job. I know you're passionate. You don't get to work here unless you're passionate. So you check that. The question is it obsessive or harmonious? Think about those things you do other than your job. The things that give you joy other than your job. Seek those out. Look for more of those. And it turns out you'll end up bringing the same level of passion to your work. It's not a sacrifice. It's not I'm saying take the edge off, don't try so hard, don't care so much about work. No, I'm saying care more about other things as well. And you end up living more in harmony than the dangerous obsession. So, the hero throughout the book is the dual consciousness. You've seen that with excellence, with fairness, with passion. I'm going to leave you with one last thought. Before I do that, any questions about the book? Questions about the concept?
Quick on that last one. How much of that you think is just biological in some cases, where some people just become single-focused, it's just inherent in them, versus the other two areas seem to be more easily adjusted by behavior or by perspective on something?
Yes. It turns out that fairness is more biological than passion. Fairness is related to a neurochemical, oxytocin. The passion, Valeron's research, and if you Google Robert Valeron, you can go really deep in this, it's driven more by environment. The research says, now environment at a really young age. We're often talking about mommy-daddy stuff. So it's not quite biological, but it might as well be because it's just as hard to deal with, right? So the contingent self-esteem, the needing to prove something, so it is difficult to grapple with, difficult to wrestle with. So I absolutely agree with that. And yet I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that with a dual consciousness, you can help and you can be helped.
But she managed it though, because it was her dad that sent her out to play tennis for hours.
Richard Williams, yes.
But she's still a parent.
that is exactly why I point to her as an example of harmonious passion, because she had all of the reason to be that single-minded tennis player with the father who's saying, you must live out my dreams on my behalf, because he had these dreams and aspirations of being a world-class athlete that he never lived up to. So she had all the reason, the excuses to do nothing but play tennis and then burn out and lead the bad behavior. And yet when Andy Roddick is being celebrated for his great career recently at the US Open, and he's retiring at age 30, she won it. She's 31. She's older than Andy Roddick by a year. She's at the absolute peak of her career at 31, which is pretty unusual for a tennis player. So there's something healthy about that sustaining passion. Look, you'll see in the book I've got the 7 with the dark side and the positive side. I'll leave you with this. 2 fish, 2 young fish, swimming along in the ocean. They pass an older fish. The older fish nods at the 2 young fish. Hi, boys. The 2 young fish nod back. And the older fish says, the water's nice today, huh? And the 2 young fish nod politely, and the old fish swims by. And then one of the young fish says to the other, water? The other one says, what the hell is water? When you're surrounded by it, when you're living in it, it's very hard to see it, to feel it, to think about it critically and from a distance. These sacred cows, what makes them so dangerous is fairness, excellence, passion, and the rest are celebrated. Your best defense against falling into the trap of the sacred cow is the dual consciousness, always keeping your brain awake and alive. That story, by the way, was told by David Foster Wallace at a commencement address about 7 or 8 years ago. And his point was, college kids really need to have consciousness and awareness of their worlds around them. And I would say it's even more important and even more difficult the older we get, and the more we're surrounded by different kinds of life. Thank you very much for letting me put up. Tim, you are up to talk about the
Let me do a quick look forward. Thank you very much indeed.
Yep.
Here's our plan for the rest of today. Take between 20 and 30 minutes now to talk about tomorrow evening.